It's going to be super meta commentary. He's going to be like, I dare anybody to critique this movie. Because he's like, the person who says it's bad is going to be right. The person who says it's amazing is going to be right. The person who loves hates it. They're all going to be, everybody's going to be correct.
It was to like signify that Satan realizes that even the death of Jesus is not going to bring me victory.
Right.
There was also
it was pretty crazy.
A moment with Judith.
Judith? Did you say Judith?
I did pronounce his name wrong.
Judith. You've watched all of these?
So many Keira Knightley movies.
I go out of my way
you
to watch
must have
Keira Knightley
imprinted on
movies.
her when you were really young with the pirate movie.
Yeah, I was 13, and she's the most beautiful woman I had seen up to that point.
What about Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Sean Connery was a dog.
Connery has such a unique charm to him. You want to kiss him right now.
Dude, I can't take it. Welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wiseworks podcast, all you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs.
Goofballs.
Yes, we're back on a Monday morning, and thank you for joining us. A public service announcement. Social distancing. We're going to talk about social distancing.
Yeah, public service.
Public service
what about
announcement.
Public.
There's a few people that died this week, unfortunately.
Who?
I don't even know his name, but he was in a movie that's coming out. That he died. He didn't get a chance to see the release.
What movie?
Let me look it up. I don't know this actor.
You just opened up with the worst.
I just figured. I thought maybe you guys heard about it and you knew who it was. Wyatt tends to know actors.
What movie?
I don't know who died.
Actor that died this week.
Shut up! Don't tell him what I'm giggling. I think it's.
He was gonna.
I think it's. He
was
Tom.
gonna.
No,
turn away
not
from
this
the.
guy. Not this guy.
What?
Well, he died as well. The guy from Saving Private Ryan.
Maybe this is
Tom
a dark vein to hit up.
Well, you said a couple. I know
open.
of Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
I know he passed away. The guy who was he was behind the counter in John Wick.
Okay.
Maybe we should just give a shout out to all the people who died.
No, that you gotta follow this through. But
What's wrong with this?
I want to know.
I'm trying to.
I want to know who specifically.
There's a movie coming out. It wasn't Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's John Wick. John Wick
You're
4.
thinking of Lance Reddick.
Yes.
Lance Reddick, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pull up a picture
John
of Lance
Wick.
Reddick.
Yes. Yes, I did hear about this.
And is it such bad that I brought it up now?
For the open? Yeah.
What's wrong?
No, he was right there. Go back.
There he is.
is.
Lance Reddick.
Yes.
Yeah, he
this
passed
fella,
away.
Unfortunately, and he's in John Wick 4 before the movie was released.
He actually, somebody noticed because he played video games a lot and voiced some characters in, I guess Horizon Zero Dawn and what was the other one? Destiny 2. And somebody noticed that he had been online like 2 days before he passed away.
Dang.
And for the past couple days, the Destiny 2 community would like gather in a significant spot, I guess, for his character,
right,
and do like candlelight vigil stuff in game,
That's
which I think
pretty
is
cool.
really cool
That is cool.
to honor him, and
So he was in all of the John Wicks.
And White House Down.
I think I remember him. Yeah, he was in White House Down.
when John Wick walks in, he's
Yeah.
the guy who's like,
Yeah.
welcome back, Mr. Wick.
Yes, Godzilla vs. Kong. He's got a long list of career, impressive career films.
Yeah,
And
and a lot of stuff.
unfortunately, he passed away. He was in Rick and Morty.
In one episode. Yeah.
He was Alan Rails.
Yeah, heck yes. So
Summon ghost trains.
So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up right at the top.
Weird time to.
Oh, it's only weird because you keep pointing it out.
It's like Joe said, let's get sentimental. Let's open up sentimental.
I said public service announcement.
Yeah.
And
Public
there it is. So
servant.
we acknowledge the fallen. And now we got to get into the goofs.
I don't know if
You really
could
brought
say,
the tempo down.
Do you need to
I'm really kind of sad.
Yeah.
Why? We got you got to tell us a little bit of information you heard about the gaming community, how they're being awesome. Josh was over here. He gets to learn a few things about Lance.
Yeah.
And I get to learn his name because I knew who he was, but I couldn't remember his name.
This is you're not doing it justice.
I love how you were just like, somebody died, somebody passed away.
Yeah,
It's not justice.
I'm sure I've heard of a couple of folks that passed away.
Well, yeah, every week. Have you guys thought about how many times people do die? Like how much people die compared to how...
who was it on who I pointed out on that Friends episode?
Oh.
Because I think he passed away too.
Well, look, there's a lot of people passing away, and I think I didn't really think about it too much until Bruce Willis. He didn't
Started
die,
having his problems,
but he started having his problems, and we talked about it last week. He's coming out with a movie that I think probably might be his last. That's not come out yet.
And then even you guys were watching, what was it? Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
Alan Rickman.
Right. Alan Rickman was there.
Absalom. I think about his, like he had a huge career.
Alan Rickman's career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Alice in Wonderland is a very bright.
It was
spot.
just one of those ones that like I remember we were watching. It was like, it's Alan Rickman,
right?
And then you think, a lot of it's interesting. Actors have these long careers, and then they pass away, and then their career sort of continues without them. It's kind of cool, and I think that's sort of how technology is moving us forward.
Right.
YouTube and everything.
You do survive, or at least the whispering memories of you survive, especially if you're online or in the public eye.
I know of a lot of like modern artists who, did murals or did comic book covers or things who passed away, and their friends and family continue posting their art on the internet. That's cool.
What actor is going to kind of hit hard for you? You think back to like when Robin Williams died, when
tough.
Can we I don't mean to not
this is my episode. I just want to know what actor is going to hit hard for you when they pass away. I have a strange one.
Yeah.
And it's not like I love all of her stuff, but I feel like she's just been like a good wholesome person, and even in today she feels still like a good wholesome person. Julie Andrews.
Yeah. She's
Sound of Music.
She's still going.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
She's still alive, and it's going to hit hard when she dies.
It's and you never know. You know, we never know what can happen. Anybody can go all of a sudden. Paul Walker gone.
Yeah.
I just watched Tokyo Drift, which he's not in, but
No.
Exactly.
I thought you were about to say Julie Andrews. She's still Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
He's still
poppin'.
Okay.
Mary Poppins.
Little Mary Poppins. That's almost a good joke.
Almost,
was
because
so
I fumbled it.
close.
I fumbled it.
Yeah, it was so close. It was
Freaking-
right there.
What
And
about-
I saw what you were
What
doing.
about you?
I appreciate
What actor's going to hit hard for you?
I don't know. Patrick Stewart.
Dang.
I think Patrick Stewart's going to be a tough one. I like Patrick Stewart stuff. Yeah. Nick Cage. That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to be forced to do that Nick Cage marathon.
Yeah, you're not going to like the whole thing.
No.
You're not going to enjoy yourself.
We've
thoroughly.
discussed this. We've talked about doing a Nick Cage marathon.
I feel like it's a
Like,
bad idea.
man.
It's
Like
a bad idea.
if you chose 2 or 3 movies every weekend, you could do all of his, movies in a year.
in 1 year, it takes a
Yeah.
whole year.
'Cause
3
he's
movies
got-
a week.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like 150 or something.
Good grief! How has he done so many?
I don't know, but
He's just done them.
we said you would have to plan it out. You'd have to go, okay, we want to do bad movie,
Good movie.
good movie, bad movie, good movie. Really space out those good ones because there's going to be a lot of bad ones.
Right. Well, to contrast really hard, there is a filmmaker who's only made a handful of movies that you could probably, if you were going to do 3 movies a weekend, you could get it done in about 2 weeks, 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Well, you underestimate how well we can watch movies.
Okay. The fella is Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that's a.
What
His
is that?
face is so close.
photo.
Come on now. We get to see
His
him.
nose is going to reach out and touch me.
Come on.
It's 3D. Look, it follows you.
The nose.
Back off his nose.
He is kind of staring up at the score.
So we got
Wants
some
my
news.
feet.
We got some
He
news.
knows I'm barefoot.
We got some news for Quentin Tarantino's final film. He started his career saying, "I'm going to do 10 legendary movies. I'm going to do 10 good films. That's going to be it. I'm going to do 10." And he's been sneaking up on 10. Well, the Hollywood one, the last one, the name is escaping me. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was number 9.
Number 9.
So everyone's been
Number
buzzing,
9.
being like, what's going to be the last film about, right?
Yeah.
And he's recently shown the world the script title. So the title for the movie, according to the script, it is The Movie Critic. And apparently it's about a person. Well, it's theorized
Somebody
it's
knows?
about a person. Yeah, a real person.
It's
So-
about the internet. I hate them all. Everybody's a critic. Everybody hates my movies, and they're all. Yeah, I don't know how his voice sounds. I
Right.
haven't watched
So,
enough of his
the
interviews.
Movie Critic is what his announced last movie is going to be about, and I actually heard him talk on Joe Rogan's podcast a while ago about how he crafts stories. So what he does is he comes up with the outline to halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Right? So he knows what's going to happen. By the time he writes his movies all the way to the halfway point, he feels like in his mind, his characters have created their own personalities, really embodied themselves as characters. Then he just freeforms it based on what that character, what he's learned about his own characters will do next to finish the script.
That's
So
interesting.
he outlines half and then lets his characters finish it.
It's
You know
going to
what
be
I mean?
super meta commentary. He's going to be like, I dare anybody to critique this movie. Because he's like,
Yeah.
the person who says it's bad is going to be right. The person who says it's amazing is going to be right. The person who loves, hates it. They're all going to be, everybody's going to be
His
correct.
stuff is so.
So-
It makes me kind of look forward to it because
I'll watch it.
he likes to do this thing where everybody kind of gets to interpret
His
what
movies,
a movie
however
means.
they want.
Well, he's been
Except-
slamming a lot of movies lately
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
people's podcasts.
He has said though that he has scripts for TV shows, and so after his film
and
he-
stage
he's-
productions.
he can write as many TV shows as he wants, but
Right.
he won't do any
won't
more
make feature
film.
movies.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is dumb.
It's not dumb. He's still spry and able to do the work.
But yeah, but if you're gonna go out, just go out.
the thing is, you can make as many,
series.
I don't know. Well, you can make as many art piece movies as you want, but movies like Top Gun Maverick are going to go down in history as some of the greatest movies made alongside them, no matter what you do. So,
Unfortunately-
maybe he's a little bit, bitter about that.
Maybe, but I will say this: for some reason, him going from working at like a Blockbuster style shop, like a movie store. What?
Never mind.
To
Keep
becoming
going.
a filmmaker, and then his first couple movies being humongous hits. And a big part of that is because he just scrappied his way into getting these big name stars on his movies
Yeah.
and becoming a legendary filmmaking name. That's pretty impressive. And all of that in less than 10 films.
What he did was appeal to the cinephiles and the screen buffs.
Real, yeah.
That's what
really
he did. He appealed to them. His movies were kind of edgy. They had a lot of tones, themes, things that you could read into, things that you could interpret, and it got those people who are like
things that were pretentious and
yeah.
things that were making fun of pretentiousness.
right. It got those people.
But then he became
into it.
pretentious himself.
Well,
Well,
the thing
I think
is,
he's always been pretentious.
Well, yes, he is
Sometimes they
pretentious.
have to be pretentious.
But also, his stories can make fun of the pretentiousness at the same time, which I think makes him an attractive storyteller.
Yeah.
Would his nose and chin just kiss already?
Come on, man, you're really hating on him.
He's
Okay,
like the
so-
guy that can hold his mouth up,
So it's rumored that the story is going to be about Pauline Kael.
Yeah.
Pauline
Kael.
Kael. She was a movie critic in the 70s.
Ah.
And so if you guys want to deep dive into her story, just Google her, see what maybe her story is. We haven't done that research. Because it's not official news. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But if you're curious, if you want to run with this rumor, Pauline Kael, it's going out there. It might be about her, and I think she's had run-ins with Tarantino himself with his old movies
What are
as
we
well.
thinking? 2023? I mean, 2026?
2024. No, I think it's going to come out probably end of 24 or the beginning of 25 because he's filming it this fall. So like August, I think he's starting to film, and film production goes by quick. By Christmas, it'll be done production.
Yeah.
So that means, so I think give him a whole year to edit, beginning of 2025 or end of 2024. He'd be
2025 probably.
competing with some big films if he waits to the end of next year.
Yeah.
So he might wait till
Sonic
the
3.
beginning. Yeah, Sonic 3, man.
No, they're
Avatar 3.
if they don't get into gear, they might not make it. But there's going to be 2 Avenger movies in 2025.
True. No, there
So
won't.
what?
That's if
Falling apart. I don't think there's going to be
That's the
anything.
plan.
get in gear.
But the interesting thing about this is that people will watch Quentin's last film, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
might end up being his biggest film because of the
Pretentiousness.
pretentiousness
It's-
of it being his last
Of
film.
it being his last. He's set himself up. It's good.
It's smart.
very smart.
He's a
the
great
way he's done it. It's
filmmaker.
like
He's
all
been a
of
great
my movies
marketer.
are art
He knows what he's
pieces.
doing.
People who appreciate art appreciate them, and you can do whatever you want.
Out of all, like, I'll say this. I won't say his cinematography is the best I've ever seen. His cinematography style, however, is the most unique I think I've ever seen. His editing is the most unique I've ever seen, but I think his dialogue writing is the most captivating I've ever listened
Pretty
to.
good.
Like,
Because he can switch from being serious to funny super quick.
very quick. And I remember the first Quentin film I watched was Pulp Fiction, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't expecting a movie like that to be what it was.
Mine was Inglourious Bastards, and the dialogue was incredible, and I loved the way it was filmed, but I think I didn't understand the movie after it was over.
A lot of his movies, it's just like, where did we go?
Right.
Where did we get to?
Where did we
And I was like, he introduces these really cool, interesting characters, and then you never see them again.
Or they like in Hateful
don't
Eight,
come in till the very
everyone's just
last.
brutally murdered.
Everybody's dead.
Everybody's brutally killed at the end of Hateful Eight. But the journey to get to everyone dying is pretty intriguing, is it not?
Yes.
I think the ones like Kill Bill and Django, where you follow a main character throughout,
Right.
are the ones I probably identify with more.
Yeah.
But I watching Pulp Fiction was interesting.
It was, and I just wasn't ready for it, so it took me by surprise, and that I think maybe Pulp Fiction might be his most beloved film, probably, and so maybe watching that one first made me a fan, and if I watched one of the other ones first, maybe I wouldn't be as big of a fan. But I was just so surprised when I first watched it. So let's keep an eye on this Quentin Tarantino's last movie. The script is at least titled The Movie Critic.
If nothing else comes out of it, we can get a bunch of good memes like, oh,
I think any movie called The Film Critic, with being made by somebody like Quentin Tarantino,
It probably is gonna be good.
who's critical, who's had a lot of critics, who has people criticizing his work all the time.
He's
all
been in the
time.
industry since the 70s,
Right.
I think.
It has to be an interesting
Yeah.
movie at the very least. It doesn't have to be a good movie. It just has to be an interesting movie.
Yeah, to hear him even just tell Hollywood stories, though, like his Hollywood stories with some of the most scandalous, like Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein.
Yeah.
The one who was in Wall.
when did he tell these?
The one who definitely
on Joe's podcast?
didn't
Yes.
kill himself.
No, he's the island guy. I'm talking about the guy who was in Hollywood, who owned
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Like he knew him. He's actually Harvey Weinstein backed a handful of Quentin's movies. Like he has some dark Hollywood stories that he did tell on Joe Rogan's podcast. To hear like his insider just observing information of seeing this weird dark industry, means he can create a wild, dark, captivating story that's very close to home.
Wouldn't it be crazy if when it gets released into theaters, it's like the first half is kind of a movie, and then the second half is just Hollywood secrets?
Yeah,
It would be crazy.
That'd be
but
awesome.
like I said,
It wouldn't happen,
He's
no.
not going to do that because he's still going to be writing scripts.
Yeah,
for
he's
shows.
a
He
film
said that.
guy.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
a
I mean,
Hollywood guy through and through.
if he knew Harvey Weinstein pretty well and he wasn't the one who outed him,
Mhm.
he probably lets things slide.
Or maybe
Which was an attack on his character. I'm not trying to attack Quentin Tarantino. I'm just saying I have questions, which I'd like to talk to him personally about. So, if you want to speak, sir, let's have a word. And that's all I have for Quentin Tarantino.
That's good.
That's
That's fine.
Let's give a shout out to a patron shout.
Cynthia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter. See, I threw in supporter there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just call
really
her a
distinguish.
Patreon.
Patron.
Thanks for being a Patreon.
Patron.
Yeah, well, we love you. There's so much that we're doing on Patreon. Early podcasts, names in the credits, exclusive content, like pre-shows, like 20-minute, 30-minute podcasts that we do over under the $10 tier. There, we have a few different tiers, and it's catered to what people like about our content, or we've
Yes.
catered it as best we can to divide it up based on what people enjoy. So if you want to be a Patreon supporter as well, then just go to the link in the description, find the tier that best fits your content needs, and we'll see you over there on Patreon because it is fun over there. Everything's most everything's early, except for maybe some stuff we do in the studio channel. So you have insider scoop, which is really what Cynthia gets to enjoy. So thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter.
The next topic is us talking about.
Well, I want to do a movie review.
Okay.
Now, I will say I'm a very big fan of this actor.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna do
I
this.
believe I'd like to go down our list maybe after we give our review of this movie and see all the movies I have seen and see if there's any that I haven't, because I think I've pretty diligently watched all of her movies. I might have missed a couple, so we'll see how accurate I am. But we're gonna give a kind of review, our first thoughts of the Boston Strangler with Keira Knightley. First off, where do you guys rate it to give the audience?
Like 1 out of 10.
Sure. Like, just set it up so people have an expectation of where you're kind of landing with this so that they know your thoughts up front. I think that'd be beneficial.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
A 5?
I'm not gonna spoil anything. We'll get into it. I'm giving it a 5 because it looked great and it was a good story, but it was nothing new. We have seen this before. It was just a new.
It is based on a true story. It is based on a true story.
Seen before.
Okay. Where do you land it?
It's I would say a 4, maybe less. It's not one I would want to watch again.
It's a 7 for me.
Interesting.
I really enjoyed this.
If
So
Keira Knightley wasn't in it, would you give it a
I'd probably give it a 6 if it didn't have Kira. They did
Then
good
it's a
casting.
6.
I liked
You have
it.
to give it a 6.
I liked hearing Kira's American accent the whole time.
She did good with that. I do appreciate that.
So this movie, what about it was, let's start with the positives because we tend to go too long on the negatives. So let's just hit the positives right off the bat. I did this on my phone today. Back off. Let me see if the next one's better. Okay, that's better.
Thank you.
Good grief. They can't tell it's real pixelated. They can't tell.
It was so pixelated. It was just
What if they got it
a
on
black
a real
screen.
big monitor?
It was just
or
a black
they're
screen.
in here with us VR.
Not yet. Not
No,
this one.
well, in the future, it might be able to artificially create a
Yeah.
VR version.
So what were you gonna say?
Positives.
Positives. I think the cinematography is out of control.
It was really good.
The lighting is out of control. The
I'll give that to you.
composition
I give
is
that to
like
you.
an OCD person's dream.
It's very good.
Right?
There
Yeah,
was
dude.
there was one scene in particular I noticed. Just somebody's getting strangled off screen, and
Right.
all we're doing is zooming in on a faucet that's dripping. I thought that was intense. I thought that was well done.
Very
I
well
like
done.
to see when we have movies like this. I like to see the person get strangled.
You want to
But-
see that?
You know, for not seeing it, just hearing it, hearing the scuffle, seeing the zoom in, the dripping of the faucet.
Right.
The lighting, everything. It was creepy and scary.
Yeah. So Ben Cutchins is the cinematographer, the director of photography.
He kind of looks like a well put together Seth Rogen.
He does kind of look like a well put together Seth Rogen, a moody Seth Rogen. He also was a cinematographer for Ozark.
Makes sense.
The vibe, you picked up on the vibe a little bit. I will say, if I'm going to critique anything, Ozark's compositionally and lighting wise was a lot more simple. This was a lot more complex. But
those
the
slow
cinematography
zoom-ins?
choices, yeah.
You
like
saw
the
a lot
edit
of those
together and
slow
everything.
zoom-ins in Ozark.
Yes.
Real slow.
Yes, the way they used his footage was similar to Ozark, but I feel like he went the extra mile with this movie than he did in Ozark. So if you like the way Ozark looks, like cinematography wise, you'd probably love this because it's like the same version but better. Yeah. That's the main thing that he also worked on White Lotus as the cinematographer.
It didn't look dark when it was dark. It did have a ominous darkness to all of it. It never really gave me like super bright.
Right.
But the dark wasn't too dark. Because sometimes they do that. Films will make it too dark and it's hard to watch.
Okay, so the director was Matt Ruskin. So
Mr. Rusk.
What else has he worked on? I didn't look him up beforehand. I don't recognize these movies. So Booster, Crown Heights,
Been a producer on a bunch of stuff. Only director
The
of
Hip Hop
5.
Project.
Yeah, hit director.
Oh wait, I need director. Give me director. Get rid of producer.
Boston Strangler, Crown
Get rid of
Heights,
editor.
Booster, The Hip Hop Project. And
Yeah, only
Glenn.
one
Yeah,
thing.
this is
Yeah,
the
I think-
first
wow.
movie I've seen of his. And they all these movies kind of look like they're a similar vibe.
Yeah, they do.
So
intense,
Yeah.
kind of drama-driven
yeah,
stories.
man. So Matt Ruskin, he's just doing dark, intense movies in the background, one every about 5 to 6 years. It looks like.
Very interesting.
So
I will say there's a lot of people involved in making this movie.
Oh yeah,
A lot of the producers and executive producers and actors and things.
right.
Go through the cast list because you keep saying Keira Knightley,
as
but
we reference, people will look at the cast list. But there's this movie is based on a true story. So I'm sure there's fictional moments, but what you were critiquing with the story itself, where we've seen it before, a lot of times I can't give that critique to movies based in reality, you know?
Yeah, historical things.
Historical things.
we've seen it before.
No, because it's an actual event.
Yeah.
Like you can't like make originality of the story, like foundation itself, with a true event. And so in itself, it's already original, you know?
Yes, but you could make what's something that happens every day. I don't know.
Make coffee?
Yeah, making coffee. A chef movie. Mm-hmm. You've seen one chef movie. Most of the time, you've seen them all, and sometimes they just get boring. Even though we make food every day, doesn't mean that it's boring to watch a chef movie because we've
chef
done
movies
that.
are usually really fun and interesting.
But chef movies are awesome. I love chef movies. Yes. I mean,
This is
last
an
one we
investigative
did,
journalist cop kind of movie. That's what this was.
It's you know,
Murder, find a serial killer.
I think for what they did, it was a different take on journalism.
Yes.
On detective work of we have to find out who this is. We've got to go through all of this information, all of this evidence,
Right.
And they did it in a way that is probably more true to reality than we realize, and it was incredibly boring.
All right. Well, I beg to differ. I was fully captivated throughout this film. I will say the ending, like, and partly is because like she was the only one at the end of the film that really wanted to figure out this mystery. Okay, everyone else wanted to close the book on it.
Right.
But I will say the ending does make me think like it is kind of a bummer, but it's true events. And so I can't really critique it. But I will say I wish they might have packaged it slightly differently just for the ending. And I don't even know how they would package it based on what they gave us. I'm just saying like I was really captivated and the ending felt slight letdown because of
it didn't
how it
feel like a great ending. I mean,
without giving it away, it's like how she
No, we're
finds
doing-
out who did it.
we're doing
right?
a review of it, so
Okay.
we
Are
are
doing-
going to
we're
spoil
not doing
it.
spoilers?
Yeah,
Or
we are going to
spoilers?
spoil it.
I was thinking no spoilers.
We got to spoil it. I mean, even
Well, the ending, no, because it's literally a mystery movie. Don't spoil it for everybody.
How long has it been out by now?
About
2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
They can pause this, watch it, and
Okay,
come
fine.
back.
Okay, fine. 2 against 1.
The relationship between her and her husband and the family, I even had to ask about it. I was like, wait, what just happened?
Right.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
What?
because he did nothing wrong.
yeah.
No, he did not.
He did nothing wrong, and still at the end they kind of made her out to be like, you know, the triumphant person, even though he did nothing wrong.
No, I think I took it as they both did nothing wrong. Really, they just wanted different things.
Yes.
Right.
That's
but
what it was.
You know, she was very clearly. There was also this weird element of the way that they cut this together.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what they did was at the end when they're like, well, you know, some people probably were the Boston Strangler and other people were copying the Boston Strangler. And really it's just any man can strangle any woman at any given moment. Then they cut it together. She pulls up in her car, her husband's in there, and the way he kind of like turns around, you're like,
is
at
he
what
gonna
point did they
strangle her?
suggest that this guy would strangle his wife? None. Zero.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, every man can strangle women, and and most of them will get away with it because of what, you know, other men, blah blah blah. That's kind of how it felt to me, and maybe that's just the way they cut it together. And then
Is that really how you took it at the end?
yeah, and then
I didn't
I
take
didn't
it that
and
way
then
at all.
we go
I
back
didn't
to
think
the.
that
She
way
drives
either.
back to the bar for another Bechdel test scene. Another one.
Oh.
Another one. Just over and over.
So you're
in between
saying-
every piece of evidence, we have these little conversations. That's and it's not the Bechdel test part of it. That was something I noticed.
Okay.
Those were the boring parts for me. It's like, let's do these little conversations between everything. I don't know why and that's how reality works.
I thought
But it was boring.
Well, okay, the way you're describing how the ending, especially with the whole a man can strangle any woman at any point, I didn't get that vibe. I don't think that's necessarily what they're trying to communicate.
What they didn't clarify. They said, I don't know what the direct quote is, but it was left open. It's like, you know, no matter how many people we put in prison for this crime, there will always be men out there who kill women.
Right. And that's
Or
a true
no.
statement.
It was men will always kill women. That's what it was. That was the line. And I was like, but is there more to this?
So you're
was,
getting the vibe that
it
this
was
was
blanket
just trying
statement.
to demonize men in general.
Yeah, that's what most Hollywood movies do now.
I understand, but I didn't get that vibe
I didn't
from,
get that
from
vibe
that communicator
either.
thing.
it was that and how often they did the Bechdel test scenes,
Okay.
how often, you know, I don't know, the way it ended, the way it was cut together, it may not have anything to do with that. But for some
rubbed you the
reason,
wrong way.
it gave me that vibe.
Some rubbed you the wrong way. With
Okay,
this movie.
the interesting thing about this movie, first off, get past the cinematography, get past Keira Knightley, get past all of that. What was interesting to me was to see a investigation, not just from a journalist, but from a woman in the 70s.
Yes.
So I think that was interesting
I
because
did like that
there's a
portion of it, too.
vulnerability there where she's like, I'm digging into this and I want to keep digging to solve this murder. But she starts realizing that the more she digs, the more vulnerable she makes herself because she
Right.
knows she can't physically protect herself necessarily. And you really feel that throughout the film.
Yeah.
And so it's a good perspective to take. I thought it was unique. It's different than like a cop looking for, the murderer, the serial killer, like we saw in
Especially-
Seven, you know?
Especially because the overall look of the movie has all of the men and women look relatively similar. White, bobbed hair women, men in suits. Everybody kind of looks similar in Boston
Right.
during this time. You know, the communities are very much split apart, differentiated.
Right.
You know, you got your black communities, your Latino communities. Everybody's kind of split up. She looks like, half the women that are getting strangled.
Yeah, she does.
And so does every other woman.
Yeah.
And so you're almost
Like
on
she
edge.
is easily the next victim.
Right.
Yeah. And so what did you get out of it? What was the what I know we've already delved into negatives a little bit, but what was the positives before you say your negatives?
So, what you said basically is what I was telling Wyatt while we were watching it is I liked that it was an investigation through the journalistic standpoint. Yes, that's what. And basically what you said, it felt like from her perspective and from a journalistic,
the
thing,
vulnerability was interesting.
Not from a detective, it was from that side, and that's what brought light with the police and stuff.
The abusive boyfriend, the Daniel character, who is probably the guy who started the whole thing, started the murders. When he invites her in, you really feel that vulnerability, and then she does a smart thing and backs out and leaves.
That was a very well put together, very intense scene,
and it really communicates, I think, what the vibe of the story is supposed to be. And the relationship she had with her friend, I was confused about why is her friend so important. And honestly, I think this story could be written without her friend. But
I would agree with.
But the problem is her friend is a real person and was there along the process. She's just as much a part of this story as Keira's character was.
I think if you make the friend character a little bit more, if you told the story from both of their perspectives, we see a lot of Keira
Jean
Knightley.
and Loretta.
Yeah, we see a lot of Loretta's character at home with her family.
Right.
If they had shown whatever Jean's going through in her personal life, it would have felt more like this is a duo movie.
Yeah.
And less like, we're watching Loretta
Jean is her
the
Robin
whole
to her
time.
Batman. You know what I mean? Like sidekick. In reality, there was very much hand in hand between them. What did you guys think of Jack, the overseer at the report at the newspaper?
He wasn't
interest
good
you?
or bad.
I don't. He was
he wasn't good or bad.
He's a good actor.
That's really why I'm labeling it a 5, because like I think there was good stuff, but there was also bad stuff, and it was this.
There were a lot of white men in this movie, and they were all pretty two-dimensional.
Yeah.
You think?
Except for her husband.
Yeah.
He had depth.
There was no depth.
Her husband had some
characters.
depth.
I would agree.
Yeah.
What about this fella? This fella had depth.
Who was he?
He was the insider person.
Yeah.
What's his name? Well, I'll look it up in a second. Dang, if these
Orville
shots aren't
Redenbacher.
Yeah.
If these shots aren't beautiful,
It's period appropriate.
I was wondering. I did wonder if the cinematography would taint my honest perspective of this film.
Yes, and it does.
It might.
It does.
It might, but I'm okay. Does it? To me, this stands out. Maybe top 20 investigative stories, like serial killer stories that I've seen. I've seen probably hundreds at this point.
So
this is probably top 20, top 15 for me.
The issue is, aside from other things I picked up on, the movie was boring for me to a point where
you didn't want to finish it?
I don't want to watch it again to try to get details right that I missed.
Dang.
So
it's just very forgetable.
For me, yeah.
It's forgettable for me, but it wasn't.
Go down.
It wasn't like terrible forgettable. It was just, it was so like just in the middle that I was like,
Further
it's not
down.
good or bad.
I want to see who all cast and crew, who were all like the producers and stuff on it, because I know it's a pretty big roster.
So written and directed by Matt Ruskin.
Matt Ruskin.
All these casts.
Lot of people.
Lot of actors.
A lot of actors in this
Okay,
movie.
produced by a whole list of individuals.
Ridley Scott's in there.
Okay.
It's a lot of, yeah.
Kevin Walsh, I feel like I know him. Dang, there's a lot of producers for this movie. I wonder if so we have a couple executive producers, which just means they probably got the financially it off the ground, and then maybe everything else just needed extra help.
Right. Does this feel like a award movie to you guys? It's kind of early. It's kind of early in a year for an award movie.
Yeah, I think it does, but it'd have to win an award for cinematography or lighting or something. I don't think they have an award for lighting, but that would fall into cinematography.
And I would be like,
Cinematography,
it was
look,
good.
Just
Decent
for the
acting.
cinematography, I would recommend this film. And if you like Keira Knightley, it's a solid Keira Knightley film.
Of course, visually, like all of their outfits, everything looked incredible.
Yeah, it's all authentic looking, and it's all done well. You just think that the actual events of the story just were a bit dull.
The
to you.
movie, not even necessarily the events that they're talking about, the
Right.
Boston Strangler murders. The movie, just as a whole, I was just kind of
Hold
lost.
on. Keira Knightley has a camera and electric department credit.
It's
One.
not
There was
showing
an
you.
error.
It's not there.
Interesting.
All right, let's just see what she's acted in. 60 pieces.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a lot of these that
Of
are
course you
actual-
have. Of course you
Okay,
have.
so no, this TV
These are
series,
TV
no,
series.
no. I'm not going to say any of the TV series.
Star Wars
Yes, I
Episode
have.
1 as Sabe.
Okay, so The Hole I have not. That's a short I haven't seen. I haven't
Bend
seen
it like Beckham.
Where? Bend it like
It's right
Beckham.
above
I see it.
deflation.
I see it. Okay, so Pirates. Let's
Short,
start from
short.
here. So Pirates, yes. I think I saw New Year's Eve actually down here.
Okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yes. Love Actually, yes.
King Arthur.
King Arthur, yes.
That's a good one.
The Jacket, no, I missed that. Pride and Prejudice, yes.
Yeah.
Domino, nope. Alternate U.S. ending. Dang, I haven't
Yeah,
seen that
there's
Pride and
Not
Prejudice
seen
alternate
this
U.S.
alternate
ending.
ending.
Dang. Okay, obviously more Pirates.
Pirates.
Atonement, yes. Silk, yes. Robbie in that, no.
Robbie the Reindeer.
Edge of
in
Love,
Close Encounters
of
of the
course.
Kind.
The Duchess, of course. The Counting.
Continuing and
Continuing.
lamentable saga of the Suicide Brothers.
No, I haven't seen that.
Not Suicide.
Never Let Me Go, yes. Last Night, yes.
Wow, you've watched
He's
all
watched
of these?
So many Keira Knightley movies.
I go out of my way
You
to
must
watch
have
Keira Knightley
imprinted on
movies.
her when you were really young with
Yeah.
the pirate movie.
Yeah, I was 13, and she's the most beautiful woman I had seen up to that point.
What about Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Sorry, Catherine. Kira was more my style.
Right.
Steve, I
It's
think I
Catherine
missed that.
Zeta-Jones for me.
London Boulevard. I don't know. The Dangerous Method, yes. That was a wild one. The Dangerous Method. Neverland, yes. Seeking a friend for the whole time. I'm just gonna
End
start
of the
saying
World.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's a
Jack
good movie.
Ryan?
So Begin Again, I like that movie.
No.
That's a
You
good
never,
movie.
you didn't see her in Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I know what this is. Oh yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I remember watching that and being
I've
like,
not
wait a
seen it.
second, she was in.
I didn't see that.
She just kind of popped up in that one.
How far? Yes, Colette, Pirates. Yes.
Wait, we missed
Nutcracker.
We missed a lot.
Imitation Game. Go down. Yeah, because we.
Did I miss a bunch?
Okay,
Yeah, there we
no,
go.
not a
Okay,
lot. Just-
Anna Karenina. That's where I stopped last time. Yes.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
There's
yes.
Jack Ryan.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
Ever.
No. No. Yes. 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 No.
Wow.
Yes. 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 And yes. Yes.
Wow, he's seen at least 80%.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
a
give it.
lot.
I give it 70%. There's a lot of no's I threw. I put
Well,
in there.
you haven't seen a lot of the shorts or TV series.
I've seen more indie films because of her than I have any other actor. And I like Johnny Depp a lot, and I haven't even seen all his movies as much as I've seen her. I don't know why. I see her face, and I'm like, another 120 minutes with Keira. That's what I think. Or maybe 90.
Wild.
That's what I think
Just
sometimes.
my sisters and Joe sitting on a couch watching Pride and Prejudice
Just
for the
enjoying the
umpteenth
mess
time.
out of it.
Yes.
Kenzie threw it on like last week, and I was like, what a good choice. And I sat down and watched it with her. Look,
We watched it on
man.
vacation. We were on like a long vacation, and we're in the hotel room, and my sisters watched it, and it was like really the first time I sat down and watched it.
I've seen it a
And-
couple times
and I
because
was
of this
like-
guy.
I was like, it's a good movie. It
Yeah,
is.
it
It's a really
is.
well done movie.
It's a love
and
story,
then
but it's
2
freaking
days
good.
later, we're back. It's the first day back from vacation, and they're watching it again.
Heck yeah. That'd be me.
And I was like, okay, it's not that good.
It's like
It's pretty good.
Your
It's got
family
with
with-
President Snow from Hunger Games as the
Yeah,
father.
He's great.
Snowy River.
Well, I won't watch Snowy River 2 days in a row either.
We did almost though. While
did
I was
almost.
down there.
That old like English humor is
I like
all
it.
throughout Pride and Prejudice, and it's hilarious and very fun and very cute and very emotional. Mr. Darcy is a hunk show. I mean, he's just beautiful.
What would you say
Also-
is Keira Knightley's best piece?
Best piece, Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Not best performance, best picture. I give it to Pirates 1. Best performance, Anna Karenina.
Okay.
You gotta watch.
I gotta watch.
You gotta watch Anna Karenina. Now she is crying nonstop in that film.
Yeah, that's not a performance.
It's pretty. It's really down.
Being sad isn't a performance.
You gotta watch
Yeah.
it. Anna Karenina is probably the most emotion she brought to a character. Maybe performance. Maybe Pride and Prejudice is up
I know
there
she's good
for
in Pride and Prejudice.
diversity of personality. Maybe there's a lot of factors you can put into it.
Yeah.
But you know that I have a lot of thoughts on a bunch of different fronts. But Anna Karenina is wild. That's one that was really good, and cinematography-wise is interesting. It's like they made the movie feel like it's actually a movie, but they before they transition to the next scene, they make it look like it's a stage play. And then they go to the next scene. You got to watch it. I don't know how to describe it. It's super cool.
We'll maybe watch it sometime.
So the next segment, I left it blank because I forgot to add a video here. But we're talking about the Passion of the Christ, the sequel.
Wait a minute.
What?
There's a sequel.
There is a sequel in the making.
Passion 2.
Wait, okay, so
Passion
The Bible 2.
what is it about then?
Okay, so let me pull it up.
So we
That's
know
the New Testament.
who is Mel Gibson attached to it?
Yes, he's directing it.
Okay.
I want to react to this clip, and I'm gonna give. I just want us to
did
give
see
all our
this.
thoughts about it. Okay.
I did see an interview with the guy, and I didn't watch the interview. I was like, oh, I just thought that he was promoting something else.
All right, so I believe this is it right here. Please don't have an
Man,
ad.
he's looking old.
It's going to have an ad.
When,
No,
when
maybe not.
Hacksaw Ridge came
Listen
out
close.
and Bloodfather the same year, oh, that's a good film too. When they came out, you started doing interviews, started doing press interviews, and then you said, you know, we're going to be bringing out The Resurrection, right? Yep. Now, that was 2016. Is it coming soon?
Yeah, sooner now, because what I had to, it is such a massive undertaking that you can't do it lightly and you can't do it quickly. You have to really consider what it is that you need to show in order to be poignant. It can't be linear. You have to have many things to juxtapose against one another, even from different time periods, in order to illustrate what something means in a more full way. And I think it's going to be a real jigsaw puzzle to do. And I have 2 scripts.
Right.
And one of them is very structured and a very strong script and kind of more what you'd expect. And the other is like an acid trip. And
I don't want
because
the
you're going
acid
into
trip.
other realms
I don't want
and
the.
stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you're in hell. You're in, it's like,
Is
you're watching the angels fall.
wow.
It's like crazy.
is
It's great.
Jim going to come back as Jesus?
Yeah, of course. Nobody.
Okay. So that was it.
Okay.
So he has 2 scripts,
Yeah.
and you automatically have a gut reaction to I don't want the acid trip version.
Because I saw the acid trip with Noah.
Yeah.
Noah was the acid trip
Hold on,
version.
but
Somehow that got approved.
Well, he would base it more on theology in the Bible mixed with some Catholic belief
he's
system,
very-
like we saw in the
Catholic.
Passion.
But
We saw that.
Yeah, yes, we did.
We saw Satan in different forms, observing Jesus from a distance, and we saw some demon possession in the Passion. So you get a vibe, and we even have the moment. We show Satan in hell, like screaming in that one moment in Passion. You remember?
No, yeah, we did.
Why? Why was he screaming? I haven't seen Passion all the way through.
Oh, it was at the when Jesus dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was to like signify that Satan
The
realizes that
It's the end.
even the death of Jesus is not going to bring me victory.
Right.
There
And
was also
it was pretty crazy.
A moment with Judith that
Judith? Did you say Judith?
I did pronounce his name wrong.
Judith.
Judith. Okay, here, quick, check this out.
Where
real quick.
yeah,
Check this out.
yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Did he just spawn in?
So that was a moment in the Passion.
Okay.
So that is the vibe of what he's talking about with the acid trip version.
Right. Was what
We're
in the
talking
movie
about
is he
what's happening in another
Can you
dimension.
imagine watching this? Actually, no, we're not going to.
in the movie is he transported there?
No, it doesn't show anything more than that.
Oh, of Satan.
Of Satan. Well,
No,
Satan
there's a small portion where Satan
like-
goes into like a human or something and talks to
okay.
Judas, and then he
No,
ends up
no.
killing himself. That's in the Passion.
No, there was like little children that were demons that was like messing. Well, little children were messing with Judas, and he was
okay.
seeing them as demons, and that's why it drove him to go hang himself.
Okay.
And this version of Satan, this look of Satan, is like observing from a distance the
Right.
crucifixion of
Gotcha.
Jesus, and then they throw this there close to the end. Where it's like a shot from hell, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's all this is. It's just thrown in there. So when we think about what he's saying, two scripts, one that's more like what you think it would be, and one that's an acid trip. What do you think he's going to go with? And you saw his facial expressions during that
I
thing.
don't know.
He might mix it.
He might mix it up.
I mean, I always just say this is very. We tread lightly with this because they have done stuff like Noah, where I was really excited for it when it came out. I went to the theaters and watched it because I thought it would be great.
The people that made those movies have no association with religion at all.
Yeah,
Mel
and-
Gibson at
Right.
least is a Catholic.
but Mel Gibson could still ruin a film.
He could. Or story.
Sorry, yes.
I think that people. I think modern people, modern Christians, who are going to be the ones who are more excited about something like this, a project like this, have moved on. They like The Chosen.
yeah, that's
the thing.
why I think he wants to make it, is because there's this wave of Christian films coming back that are good, and so people are talking about them, and it's popular again.
So why wouldn't he capitalize on that? He made the biggest
They
Christian
should
film of all
capitalize
time.
it, but we should also
Right.
tread lightly. People and the Christian community need to tread lightly. Even Mel Gibson.
So what you're saying
because
is Mel needs to get this
with a
he needs
wave
to-
of good stuff, there's a wave of bad stuff.
Yeah,
you still get sand in your shorts with waves.
yeah, that's true.
The-
That's true. That's true.
The people who enjoy The Chosen, you know, want that kind of storytelling. It's grounded. It's enjoyable. It's, you know, focused on story and dialogue and really strong moments.
Right.
Whereas I don't know that people want the drama of The Passion of Christ.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it came and went too. It was a big, huge movie. People liked it. It's still probably a classic for a lot of people. But The Chosen show is going.
Yeah.
It's current. It's what's happening. It's what's happening right now. So I don't know how much success this is going to get if
Well-
he doesn't do something crazy like angels and demons and
So
but-
I think with where the world of entertainment in relationship to the Bible and the stories that are in the Bible, he probably doesn't need to go with that second idea. Okay,
Right.
He doesn't need to go. What happens in the spiritual realm around my film, The Passion of the Christ? You know what I mean?
right.
We kind of take pieces from the Bible and assume the rest, and then he depicts it in an artful way of how he sees this taking place.
I mean, it's crazy how he sees Satan as Voldemort.
Like Voldemort. I was thinking the same thing.
But
It's like, when did this come out? Right when the last Harry Potter movie was coming
Maybe.
out, because
But
that
no,
looked like
I think
Voldemort
Harry Potter
to me.
was around 2009. This was 2004.
so
Oh.
So this is way
you're
before
right. Here's
Harry
the thing,
Potter.
though. Like The Chosen is focusing, like what we've talked about, even during the crucifixion, it's going to be focusing on his followers. The Passion is 100% about Jesus. It follows
Yeah,
him, and
yes.
it's literally in.
It's also an
Latin.
yes, it's an artful piece too. I was about to say
It's
because
more
in
it's
Latin,
high
it's-
cinematic.
Yes, it's
you
very art piece rather than
It's a film. It's not
Yeah.
a movie. It's a film. You know what I mean? So if he takes that same approach with the next one, then I think if you want Christians to enjoy it, the same ones that accepted the Passion, the same ones that'll watch this one and are currently watching The Chosen and are currently watching Jesus Revolution, then you're going to probably have to go with that first script, the one that is more predictable. And if you want to tie little samples of the second script in
He
there,
could s-
you can.
Yeah, he
but
could
don't
still,
go overboard. Don't
yes,
go overboard.
He can use both scripts, but
Lean more
lean
in-
on the first one.
Well, I think he has to understand that, you know, the Catholic thinking of, like, even the first movie is very Catholic. Everything is hyper dramatized,
Right.
You know, everything is as, you know, dirty, bloody, scary. You know, it's hyper dramatized. People are, I think, in a phase of watching the Christian movies now of it's story driven. It's not drama heavy.
Right.
Because we know the events were dramatic. We know they were dark and terrible, but there was also, you know, real kind of everyday things that happened.
Yeah.
But the Catholic Church has always been very much the most dramatic about every aspect of everything.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, in some ways it's hard to say no to a sequel or an expansion of this project because this is not currently looking
to the
be
passion.
So what's your...
let me finish. It is the number one Christian story movie that's ever been produced, and it's not going.
Yeah.
There's no projections that anything anytime soon is going to beat it.
No.
It is humongous. So I mean, it's humongous outside of the Christian world. That it's hard to beat. So it's hard for people to just be like, oh, a sequel? I don't know, maybe not. And that's why it's taken so long. It's the same James Cameron. He's like, oh, it makes a lot of money. We're going to make 6 more movies. You know what I mean?
It may take us 10 years between them.
What was your joke?
It was just Mel Gibson over in the corner. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Did you notice that in that video, I think it might be his old age or something, but his facial expressions are like...
No, that's always been Mel Gibson. That's always Mel Gibson.
Know, did he have a stroke or something?
No, I don't think so. He might have had a heart attack at best. I'm sorry. A heart attack's not best.
A heart attack at best.
But no, it's not a stroke. I'm just saying, like, his facial expression, like, he's going like, it's an acid
That's always
trip.
been. That's always been Mel Gibson.
He is very
always got
expressive.
That thing.
He looked like when she was like, you were talking about maybe doing a sequel to your Passion movie, and he's over there going like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, you're in hell, and
You're gonna be in hell. You're gonna be watching it. You're gonna be in hell.
Was that our last segment? Or?
No, I want to talk about that indie film.
Oh.
You guys watched it, right?
Yes.
No. Yes, I did. All
right, so
I just saw the life.
So there's a beautiful, beautiful animated short film.
It is visually incredibly intense. Yeah.
Stunning.
What was the point of the old film style if it was 3D animation, though?
I think it's just
It's a style choice, my man.
Stylistic choice.
So I follow this one YouTube channel that allows me to see some new shorts, and a lot of them are bad. A lot of them are dumb. But there's a few that stand out, right? And so this one is called
A Voice
The Voice
in
in the Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Voice in the Hollow, and I'm gonna mute it.
Play it, but yeah, just bring it up and skim through.
So the animation style
It
is
does-
wild. First off, it's always constantly moving. This was done in Unreal Engine, right?
Yeah.
And they threw a look on it to stylize it, gave it rounded edges, almost like it's a film, almost like it's shot on film. And it's got those really bright colors that's beautiful, but it gives kind of a matte softness to it, which I think accents it well, especially with shots like this, how there's a lot of light bouncing through it. Overall, the story, what stood out to you guys?
It was
So
whack.
number one,
Cain and Abel.
it's very Cain and Abel.
It's basically Cain and Abel.
The women in tribes like this didn't hunt. Just gonna throw that out there. Did you see how small and skinny their arms were?
Right.
In that short, they're not throwing a spear into a lion. They're not killing no leopards.
Right.
If you look past that, the need for all of these, short films to have female main characters in traditionally male roles.
There it is, the first one.
It was a incredibly intense short. It was very well done.
The director was
Miguel
Ortega. So I
No
think I
pictures
watched
of it?
a while back. I watched a behind the scenes for this, and it was pretty interesting to see some of their concepts of how they ended up doing this, and I got to see a little bit about what the directors how he was as a person.
I know they've done stuff like this before. This making a short animated film it's been popular for a while, but it almost seems like there's a new life with maybe not giving this all the credit, but with like Love, Death, and Robots, there's this life that has been brought into the short film animation.
I think it's the animation softwares. Things
You
like
think?
I think it's the things like
That's
Unreal
possible.
Engine
That's
that are
possible.
making this possible.
Yeah. I think people are having fun with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I love to see it. Especially, it's interesting. I know you can have qualms,
Yeah.
with the lore of it and all that, but I think it's fun. You take a simple story that's complex, has
All
a
these are
complex
dudes.
messaging.
All these hunters, they're dudes. Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah, so they wanted to do it like instead of two brothers, two sisters. You know what I mean?
Right. But if you're doing it for hunters, it would be brothers.
Yeah, kind of. I think
Kind of, yes.
sure. Yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
Yes,
100% every time.
But
in
it's-
cultures, hunter-gatherer cultures like this, historically, yes.
Okay.
And don't you guys bring up how every once in a while we find female skeletons with their weapons and the battle marks and everything, and every single article says this find might redefine how we look at hunter-gatherer societies. You're looking past thousands and thousands and thousands of skeletons of male hunters.
Yeah.
You know, to use this
I-
one female
All right,
skeleton
let's get past this.
to redefine history.
Let's get past this.
Yeah, that's not the thing. That's just something I noticed. It's like
Yeah.
it's there.
So you
it
think-
is. It's whatever.
Okay, so the story is basically the complex idea, the simple yet complex narrative of Cain and Abel from the Bible. It's like the first murder, right?
Right.
The qualms, the jealousy that a sibling might have with another sibling, especially if one is favored over the other.
Or good at something.
Or good at something. And even if you don't intend to harm them indefinitely, you
Intending to harm.
intend to harm
is
can lead
dangerous.
to danger. It is dangerous. And so I think this tells that story well. It was pretty graphic at the end. So be aware of that if you go ahead and watch this.
Be warned.
But it is beautiful. It is a simple story, and it is in a different language. And I don't know which language that is.
I don't know either.
I don't know either.
Probably an African language, I would guess.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I just thought rate it 1 out of 10. A simple review for this. I think it's
Give it a
worth
7. It's a really
6.
good. It's a really good animation.
Just like before, visually, even with the style that you said you might not care for, like the
Oh,
choice
yeah,
of
yeah,
it, I give it an 8. Man, this is
The-
beautiful.
And as far as story goes, to have, it's very simple. It's like the culture is, you gotta be able to be a hunter. You have to be able to make the kill to be a leopard.
Right.
To come back as a leopard, essentially. If you die and you're not a great hunter, you're not going to be able to be a leopard, which is what they fear and respect most.
Right.
And this sister is like, I'm a failure. I'm never going to be able to do this. No, they're not. And she's jealous of this other sister, and the other sister's like, teasing. You're a failure, haha. You're never gonna be a leopard, haha.
There's a lot of good story elements that you can take from this and be like, hey, don't make fun of your siblings because they're not good at something. Also, don't lash out at your siblings because they are good at something.
Yeah.
And
My
don't,
sister stabbed the other sister with a pencil.
similar situation.
Very similar situation.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Two
makes sense.
sisters.
That makes sense.
So yeah, we highly recommend it. Check it out on YouTube. Just look up
Oh,
the voice.
highly is 6%.
The voice in the
I
hollow.
mean, I would
6
highly
out of 10.
I give it an 8.
recommend-
I give it an
recommend.
8.
Okay.
It's
I
enough
would highly
to watch it.
recommend this.
It's only 10 minutes long, so watch
Right.
it.
Yeah.
For
The
10
voice,
minutes, it's a fun thing.
The voice in the hollow, you'll be blown away by the 3D animation powered by Unreal Engine. You'll enjoy it. Check out these little screenshots that are put in here. Beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It's
it does
very
look good.
pretty.
It does look good.
grief, it
For a
looks
minute, I was like, "Is this claymation?" And then I looked at the title of 3D animation. I was like, "Ah."
No, that's it. All right, so that's all I have. Let's do 30-second stories. How long have we been going, by the way?
Over an hour.
But that's not an answer.
Just over an hour.
Just?
Mm.
That's a short episode.
We got through everything.
We got through.
Bro, we can't be cutting our episode short now.
What's just like 7 minutes? Are we 7 minutes over an hour or like a minute?
About 3.
3 minutes.
3? Are you for real?
Yeah.
Wow. We breezed through.
We breathed.
Dang it, man. Wow.
You didn't take any time in between the segments to talk
Yeah,
about
we
other
didn't.
stuff.
We didn't banter a lot in this episode.
Well,
Right,
we
as
did
much.
banter
You
well in
opened
the
on
pre-show.
death.
So we
Yeah, so
couldn't
you're saying I
banter.
You opened on death.
So we didn't banter.
So we didn't banter as much in the beginning, and then, you know, you had a bunch of segments, so we just jumped from segment to segment.
Jump,
I guess so. But do you think that, okay, before we get to the end bit, do you think that bantering is actually going to be needing to go away, or do people still like
no,
it?
no.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
people
banter is
definitely
what
like
is. People enjoy the banter. I sometimes skip.
lot of
I was like,
people-
I want to get to the segment and hear what they say, but then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to hear what they're talking about in between.
So like episodes like, or podcasts like Your Mom House Studios, those things are primarily banter, right? They have things that like will kick them off. But like Two Bears, One Cave is all banter. And then Your Mom's House has clips that they react to and banter in between. So, and then you have remember that movie we watched with Ashton Kutcher and the guy who plays Ryan in The Office? It's like a Hulu movie.
Oh yeah.
BJ Novak.
BJ Novak. And he's a podcaster. And it's like this podcast network. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And everything's formatted. Everything's documentary style podcasting. Everything's like
It's journalistic
journalism.
podcasting.
Yeah, journalistic podcasting.
Interesting.
Everybody's like, oh, that's the future of podcasting. Like that's what people want to hear.
That's the future of journalism. It's not the future of podcasting.
Yeah. There's several ways you can podcast. I think something that's getting really popular is if there was a show or a movie that was popular back in the early 2000s. There's people that start podcasts based off that. The Friendship Onion.
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Rings. They constantly are having like Elijah Wood on there, Sean Austin, because of Lord of the Rings stuff. Or even
Ear Biscuits. It's a compliment. It's a long form
Ear
compliment
Biscuits
to
does not
GMM.
fall into what I was talking about, but yes.
What, you talk about just movies? Because Ear Biscuits is a compliment to Rhett and Link's YouTube career. But it's their
Yeah, but that's
podcast.
always been hand in hand. I'm talking about like traditional actors that had fame on a show or on a movie that was really popular, and then they decided to have a podcast.
It's like if
now based
Daniel
off that.
Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and
Yeah.
Emma Watson started a podcast.
I'd be down with
Yes.
that podcast. And you know how
Yo,
popular
call it the
would be?
Deathly Hallows. That'd be sick.
Ooh, can we put it on Wiseworks as like a sub podcast on our channel? Let's get in touch
If
with
they want,
Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm not really a
The
producer,
Marauders.
but okay.
Yeah, I know Rodders has been working with Shyamalan recently. Actually, quite a few. He did that series with Shyamalan, then he just did the movie with Shyamalan. So they're friends. We can probably get Shyamalan on board to kind of like help be a consultant for the podcast vibe, you know? And then we just set up all the groundwork. So what is the Deathly Hallows?
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't
If you have 3 of them.
quite work, being that some of them are British, and
What are you talking about?
I mean, well,
Aren't they all British?
they're all British.
oh, well,
And
then
what's
they gotta
wrong with
come
them
here
being
to
British?
film. Well, we're gonna go there to film.
No, we can do it virtual. We can do a virtual podcast.
It's their show. It's
It would
just under
become
our
so popular.
umbrella.
It would be so
It would be popular. It would be
freaking
popular.
popular.
They would have to, if they stuck with it, it'd be extremely
It would be
popular.
bigger than Joe Rogan if they did it for 3 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all of the fans of Harry Potter.
They would also have they would need to have,
They'd have more consistent viewership.
they would
probably.
need to have interesting conversations, and they would need to be, I don't know, they'd have to have something interesting.
I feel like they would just be like, they're all becoming parents, and just be like
No.
That.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that. Speaking of which, Daniel Radcliffe and his girlfriend just announced they're pregnant.
they
So they are
all
becoming parents.
parents.
Is Emma Watson, has she have a kid
I
or
don't
a
know.
couple
She
of kids?
hates men.
Hold on, we're definitely clipping this out, so don't be flying that around in the conversation.
I mean, it's just
She doesn't truly hate men.
Well, who knows?
She loves Daniel, probably.
Yeah,
Her
probably.
co-stars.
I don't know what she thinks about men. I don't know her beliefs.
Let's see if she
on
has
men.
children? Question mark.
I doubt it. But I don't know.
Children? Question mark.
Question.
Does she have children? No,
I
that's
don't
her at a
think so.
hospital.
No.
No,
Does she have
I don't
children?
think she has any kids.
It just does right there. Does she
What?
have kids?
Where
It's right there.
does Emma Watson?
Does those Emma Watson have kids?
Where are you pointing?
Below what you're searching.
Oh,
It's already there.
Emma Watson may not have any
Yeah,
children.
no,
yet,
she doesn't have any kids.
But thanks to her profession. Okay, different between Emma Watson. Keira's got a couple kids,
Yeah.
and she is still a fine mama.
You don't think she's had any work done?
None. No, I don't know. I don't know below the neck what kind of work, and I don't want to know.
Mhm.
You know, she has had kids, a couple of them, and she just had a kid not long ago, which is why she wasn't making any movies for like a year or 2 years. But no, in her face, definitely not. And she's aging beautifully.
Okay.
Keira she should be I'm speechless. She should be praised more than she is.
She's a
Everyone's
great
sleeping on
actress.
Keira Knightley.
I think you're just a little more.
Rose-colored glasses.
Rose-colored
Yes.
glasses. Yeah.
All right, so
Hey.
the Deathly Hollows podcast, we'll produce it.
We'll produce it. Yeah. Sure.
But we have to get all three on board,
Mhm.
right? And if Shyamalan wants to be a part of it or be a consultant for
M.
the
Night?
show, yeah, M. Night, because he knows what's his face,
Radcliffe?
right? No,
Rupert Grint?
Yes, he knows him very well.
I think we can get Grint separately from Shyamalan. I don't want him.
I would like to have
involved.
a conversation with Shyamalan.
I'd like
Can
to
we
talk
just do
to
that?
him, but we maybe have him on the podcast. But
Okay.
I don't want him involved in what we're making.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah,
He'd be a fun consultant.
he would, but he'd be like, "Does it have a twist ending?"
It's a podcast, Mr. M. Night.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight, Mr. Shyamalan.
Why? It's your week for 30-second stories.
Is it really?
Yep, because he did it last
We
week.
did do it last week.
All right, are you ready for this, sir?
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan and Daniel Radcliffe.
I gotta do it. A knife and a podcast.
Oh, dang.
Knife and
We
a
just
knife.
gave him the whole story.
Yep.
What we've been talking about for the past little bit.
Yep. Come up with your own thing, not what we just talked about.
All right, tell me when you're ready for 10 seconds.
Okay.
We technically cheat. We give you time and then extra 10.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Go for it.
All right, 10, here we go.
Yep.
I wonder what it's going to be. I wonder. And go.
So Daniel Radcliffe
Yep.
starts his podcast, obviously, and one of his first guys he has on the podcast, M. Night Shyamalan.
Nice.
They have a wonderful conversation. That it's just them two, nobody else. They're just at an apartment, and all of a sudden, lights go out. Podcast is over. Shyamalan walks out. Radcliffe is dead. There's a knife. It's a whodunit now, and the only suspect, M. Night Shyamalan. You'll never expect how it ends.
Okay. All right. So 44 seconds. You got everything well before 30.
Yeah.
But everything was the only suspect, 30.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan. You'll never guess how it ends. So the pitch was almost perfect.
Almost.
If you didn't take as many dramatic pauses, you would have made it.
The dramatic pauses
Sold it.
are half the story.
I want to see this film, if it's a film.
Yeah.
It's a story.
It sounds like something Radcliffe would do, where he gets killed by M. Night
Radcliffe
Shyamalan.
did Swiss Army Man.
Yeah,
He'll do anything.
he'll do anything.
Did you guys watch Swiss Army Man?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't
It's
know.
wild.
I didn't know if I could commit because I know he's dead, and I know another human is interacting with his corpse, and I did not want to know what happens.
It's a comedy. Now, it is wild. It's a wild ride, and it's not what you expect. There's a twist.
I did watch the one where
He's alive.
the romance, the rom-com one that he did where he eats a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
missed that one.
You watched it. It's just been a while ago.
Daniel Radcliffe eats
I
a
think
peanut
we
butter
watched it
and
together.
banana sandwich.
Yes.
You know what? Who I miss? Elijah Wood. He hasn't been on much.
He's on the Friendship Onion all the time. Just listen to that.
All right. I'll just listen to a podcast as opposed to watch him in a movie.
Yeah.
Do you think Dave is better as Little Dicky or on the show?
I don't know him.
I'm just spitfiring questions.
As Dave,
Are we still
more
going?
than the show. But the show's fun.
All right.